And the big storyline, San Diego Padres. And the big storyline, exit meetings. Normally happens the days after the season ends. But the bigger storyline is what has just happened with the Padres. And that is the reality that Peter Seidler has given a vote of confidence to everybody in the Padre front office, issued a press release at 11 a.m. on Monday morning. Status quo. There will be no changes. Meetings beginning immediately to try to solve what was wrong with Padre baseball. I think they will redefine the roles of the general manager and the field manager. However, Peter Seidler did not mention A.J. Preller's name. He did not mention Bob Melvin's name, but says full vote of confidence for everybody in the front office. We will learn from what we went through this year, and we will be a World Series team next season. So that's the starting point of the conversation, despite the fact that nearly 80% of the fans who take part on my website's poll wanted A.J. Preller removed. There will be no removal, and they're adopting the Cubs philosophy, wait till next year. John, your reaction?
Yeah, this is on one level not surprising, on another level very surprising, because normally Peter Seidler has shown this loyalty to his team, and he's often wanted to have that consistency. Going back to the time when Ron Fowler was leading the bus or driving the bus, and they hired Mike D and AJ, and who was it back at that time? I guess it was Andy Green. But it's gotten to the point now where everyone says that relationship between Melvin and Preller is so dysfunctional. Something's got to give. So I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. If he's given full confidence to his staff and they go into these meetings together, they've got to come to a resolution. And if one of those guys won't change their behavior, then they may step down voluntarily.
Well, point said. And the question is, A, does A.J. Preller change his methodology? And B, does Bob Melvin want to be here considering the jobs that are opening up over the last 3 days in Major League Baseball? Might he want to be released from the final year of his contract to go take a job somewhere else? At the end of the day, I think it's a terrible season of underachievement. Padres go 82-80. Yes, they won 14 of their last 16, but 13 of those 14 wins are against the bottom-dwelling teams in baseball. And there are huger questions to be answered aside from just Preller versus Melvin and the Civil War. Do you try really hard to keep Blake Snell on maybe a 3-year contract? Why would you let the relief ace of the year, Josh Hader, walk out the door without making an attempt there? Do you keep or do you remove Juan Soto, which makes no sense to me? The USA Today is of the opinion that the Padres are going to trade him. And then what do you do with the group of starters at the back of the rotation who all have option clauses in Waka, Lugo, and Martinez? And what will the payroll be? Will it be $250 million this coming season? But how do you fix the bottom of the roster if you're going to keep the payroll the way it is, knowing what you got to pay all these other guys to retain them? And I'm sorry for Padre fan and for some certain segment of the media, stop celebrating underachievement. And by the way, managerial openings for the Mets, the Giants, and Cleveland, and there may be more in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we may have answered one question. Wait till next year with Preller and Melvin. Awful lot of other baseball questions that need to be responded to. Go ahead.
What do you think, Lee, of the rumors of Bob Melvin going to the Giants and maybe even the Padres trying to trade the manager to the Giants?
I think both things probably have some validity. I mean, Bob is from the Bay Area. Bob managed across the Bay in Oakland. Bob's got a relationship with Farhan Zaidi, the general manager of San Francisco. But the more I think about it, why would you vacate a potential World Series team to go somewhere else and really be down the food chain of the ability to compete? San Francisco is a real rebuild. This might be a bit of a retool in San Diego if you can come to some middle ground about relationship with the general manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this all shakes out, because if this dysfunctional relationship between Preller and Melvin cannot be resolved, if it's grudge mode, if it's a civil war, and he's not going to fire anyone, then something's got to give. So I can't imagine they're going to have like a 1 hour friendly corporate meeting today. This is going to be a series of conversations that have probably been happening for weeks, if not months. So I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Adopt the 3 words that I mentioned at the top of our Monday bonus podcast. Redefine the roles.
There you
Okay,
go.
let's move on from Padre baseball to talk about the